Good day, good people, and welcome to Whiskey and Smoke News Network, your weekly whiskey, cigar, pipe, and pipe tobacco program where we cover the news, new releases, upcoming events, and we throw in an interview with someone in the industry or someone who is industry adjacent for good measure. We may sometimes get a bit cheeky. We may even at times be a little bit scholarly, but providing you with some entertaining content for the next hour or so is our ultimate goal. With all of that being said, please remember that you must be of the appropriate age in your home country to watch or listen to this program, which is usually 18 or 21. So if you are not of the appropriate age in your home country, please stop watching or listening to the program now. This is episode 13 for February 22nd, 2026. My name is Chris Kumnick, and I'll be your host. Let's go ahead and take a little sneak peek of this week's Toast the Foot remote interview with Drew Newman of the J.C. Newman Cigar Company from Tampa, Florida. We talk about his background before joining the family business, the new book that came out in the fall called Cigar City, their core line of cigars, as well as a blend of other topics. Let's take a look. So you mentioned something there that I think maybe most people if you're in the cigar world, but you guys do have a tie with Arturo Fuente.
Yes.
Can you go into that a little bit?
Of course. So Tampa's place in the cigar industry peaked in the sort of the middle of the 20th century. And then in the latter half of the 20th century, the cigar industry here started to decline. And it did for a couple of reasons, but largely because cigars are made by hand. That involves a lot of labor, and labor costs are much higher here in the United States than they are in Latin America. So in the 70s and accelerating into the 80s and the 90s, one by one, Tampa cigar factories started to close and move their operations overseas. And so by the early 1980s, the Fuente family, the Newman family, were two of just a couple of families still rolling cigars left in Tampa.
All of that with Drew and more, but first, the news. In whiskey news, Penderyn Distillery, Wales's pioneering whiskey producer, founded in 2000, is marking its 25th anniversary and St. David's Day, 1st of March 2026, with the launch of its first official age statement single malt whiskeys, beginning with a limited edition 25-year-old Penderyn Barrel No. 1, drawn from a single sherry butt, 420 bottles, approximately $1,637 each. They're available for pre-order this month. Further age statements at 12, 21, and 25 years will follow from May. Alongside this, Penderyn is releasing Icons of Wales No. 14, The Village, in early March, an Amarone cask-finished single malt celebrating the 100th anniversary of Portmeirion Village, accompanied by a national program of tastings and events during Wales Week London, which is 21st of February, which is yesterday, through March 7th, including special gatherings at Portmeirion in North Wales and the Whiskey Shop in Piccadilly. CEO Stephen Davies described the releases as a confident step forward, showcasing progression, patience, and pride in Welsh's whiskey global rise, with Penderyn now operating 3 distilleries, Brecon Beacons, Llandudno, and Swansea Copperworks, welcoming over 100,000 visitors annually and exporting to more than 50 countries. Diageo has agreed to pay nearly $23 million to the province, that's Canadian dollars, to the province of Ontario as part of a settlement that ensures Crown Royal, the second best-selling spirit in LCBO stores, remains available on the Ontario shelves, despite Diageo's ongoing closure of its Amherstburg bottling facility this month. The deal, announced February 13, 2026, ends months of tensions after Ontario Premier Doug Ford threatened to pull Crown Royal from LCBO stores over concerns that production would fully shift to Diageo's new Alabama plant. The settlement funds will support economic development in Amherstburg, purchase grain-neutral spirits from Greenfield Global in eastern Ontario, fund new ready-to-drink products, Crown Royal, Smirnoff, Captain Morgan, via Toronto and Scarborough co-packers, bolster Ontario agriculture, and finance local marketing. Ford hailed the agreement as a win for Ontario jobs and supply chains, while Diageo expressed gratitude for the collaboration and reaffirmed its commitment to the province. Compass Box has unveiled its 2026 limited edition Hedonism blended grain Scotch whiskey, featuring Scottish actress Karen Gillan as the muse, reimagined on the label by Australian artist Emma Hack. The artwork presents a contemporary layered take on the iconic hedonism woman, celebrating grace, strength, and individuality with Gillan at the center. The whiskey itself, bottled at 46% ABV, incorporates some of the oldest components in hedonism's history, including a 30-year-old Strathclyde whiskey, 20 to 24-year-old Dundas and Cameron Bridge whiskeys, historic blended grain parcels, and a new sherry cask finish, delivering rich notes of clove-spiced fruitcake, dates, toffee, coffee, and cocoa-infused cream. Creative director Angela D'Orazio described it as a richer, darker, and more intense than prior editions, marking the first use of an old sherry component. Limited to 13,126 bottles worldwide, Compass Box Hedonism 2026 is priced at £90 or about $123 American for a 700 milliliter bottle, with pre-orders starting February 24th, exclusively at Masters of Malt, and general release on March 1st. This continues the annual Artist Collaboration Series relaunched in 2023 after Hedonism's original 2000 debut as the first Scotch whiskey to prominently feature a woman on its label. The Spirit of Speyside Whiskey Festival, returning for its 27th year from April 29th to May 4th, will feature more than 600 events across Scotland's Speyside region, home to 51 working distilleries, over one-third of Scotland's total. The festival, which generates more than £2.2 million annually for the local economy, expects visitors from over 40 countries and kicks off with nearly 80 events on April 29th, including an industry dinner co-hosted by Craig Alecky Distillery for its 135th anniversary. Highlights include immersive distillery tours and tastings, coopering masterclasses, whiskey-paired dinners, fireside drams, beachside sipping on Findhorn Beach, and returning dram tram ride from Dufftown to Keith with whiskey on board, the 10th anniversary whiskey school, and a traditional salad, I think that's how you pronounce that, at Craig Alecky Distillery on May 1st, hosted by festival chairman Henry Angus and distillery manager Steve Delgarno. Angus emphasized that events focused on high-quality experiences and community support, noting strong growth in visitors and ticket sales in recent years. The full 2026 program goes live on the festival website on the 18th of February, which is already live, with tickets launching at noon on the 24th of February. Taiwanese single malt producer Kavalan has appointed Marussia Beverages UK as its exclusive distribution partner in the United Kingdom, effective March 2026, to expand nationwide presence through specialist retail, on-trade, and e-commerce channels while leveraging Marussia's long-term brand building expertise. The partnership will focus on reintroducing Kavalan with premium positioning, starting with the UK debut of its first ever age statement release, the Kavalan 15 years old single malt whiskey, on 9th of March 2026 at a recommended retail price of £149 for a 700 milliliter bottle. Marussia Managing Director Trevenon Weeks expressed excitement about representing Kavalan's award-winning portfolio, including multiple world's best titles, while Kavalan Chairman Y.T. Lee highlighted the collaboration as a strategic step to establish the brand as a leading luxury single malt from the world whiskey region. In 2026, Marussia will drive growth through trade communications, media engagement, and visibility at events like Whiskey Live and the Whiskey Show, with plans for immersive distillery experience for key UK partners beginning in 2027. Loch Lomond Brewery, founded in 2011 by Fiona and Ewan McEachern in a 12,000 square foot facility near Dumbarton, Scotland, has launched a Crowdcube crowdfunding campaign to raise £250,000 to scale up its brewing and distilling operations following the early 2025 opening of Leven Bake Distillery on the same site. The funds will boost production capacity, lay down more whiskey casks, upgrading packaging facilities for greater efficiency and output, and supporting the growing portfolio that already includes West Highland Gin and Vodka, Kumara Rum, and Levenbank New Make Spirit, with future single malt and single grain whiskeys planned. Fiona, managing director, highlighted the journey from brewing and delivering every pint herself to building a national brand stocked in major supermarkets and exported globally, describing the distillery edition as an exciting next step and inviting beer and whiskey fans to join via crowdfunding. The business plans to use specialty brewing malts, crystal and chocolate, and beer-inspired wash recipes, imperial stout, barley wine, wee heavy, for a unique whiskey flavor forecasting over £7 million in revenue growth within 10 years while employing a team of 17. The campaign is now open for registrations of interest and will officially launch shortly. Bruichladdich Distillery on Islay is preparing for its annual Rock'n'Doll Festival on Sunday, 24th of September 2026, as part of the wider Feijoa celebrations, marking the 20th anniversary of the distillery's reopening and the 40th anniversary of Feijoa. The free entry event, expected to draw more than 2,500 whiskey fans to the distillery courtyard, will feature live music headlined by Nathan Evans and the St. Finks Band, along with performances from Cammy Barnes and Callum McPhail, the specialist botanist gin cocktails, local food from island artisans and restaurants, and a range of Bruichladdich drams, including 2 limited edition Rock'n'Doll single malt releases and the reveal of a special 25th anniversary bottling. A highlight is the expanded masterclass hosted by Master Blender Adam Hannett, now accommodating 500 ticket holders, about $204 each, including general admission, with hand-selected, iconic, and never-before-seen archived whiskeys and guest appearances. Tickets are allocated via ballot at bruichladdich.com. General tickets, $41, go on sale the 23rd of February via the website or the Distillery Visitor Center. And for those unable to attend in person, the masterclass and music will be streamlined online throughout the day. Global Marketing Director Gareth Brown promised an even bigger, more ambitious festival than ever before. The World Whiskey Awards America 2026 and Icons of Whiskey America winners were announced on February 12, 2026 at a ceremony in Brown Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, hosted by Peggy Noe Stevens and Maggie Kimbrell. The event celebrated the diversity, quality, and innovation of U.S. whiskey industry, with Distillery 291 named Brand Innovator of the Year, Owen Martin of Angel's Envy as Craft Distiller of the Year, and Dina Horn of Bardstown Bourbon Company as Visitor Attraction Manager of the Year. 2 new inductees joined the Whiskey Magazine Hall of Fame, Donna Nally of Maker's Mark and Campbell Brown of Brown Forman. Winners in categories exclusive to America whiskey, including bourbon and Tennessee whiskey, will advance to compete for world's best titles at the Global World Whiskies Awards 2026 dinner in March. Awards director Anita Oyasas praised the high standard of entries, while sponsors included Glencairn Crystal, NRM Top Series, IPL Packaging, Proof 8, Kentucky Bourbon Festival, Larkfire, the American Distilling Institute, and the Distillers One of One. Rebel Bourbon, the official bourbon of Richard Childress Racing, has released Rebel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Single Barrel selected by Kyle Busch, a limited edition expression handpicked by 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch, in collaboration with Rebel Master Distiller John Rempe. Bottled at 108 proof to honor Rebel's RCR sponsorship, the 4-year aged wheated bourbon follows the brand's original 1849 recipe for robust flavor, velvety smoothness, and a hint of spice. The single barrel release ships this month nationwide at a minimum suggested retail price of $39.99 per bottle. Presented in Rebel's signature embossed bottle with a gold label featuring a checkered flag pattern, RCR branding, the number 8 graphic, Busch's signature, and unique barrel details. Brand manager Philip Lux and Busch himself highlighted the shared Rebel spirit of defiance and winning, with bottle signings planned in key 2026 NASCAR race markets, including the Duramax Grand Prix in Austin, Texas on March 1st. William Grant & Sons has unveiled a refreshed visual identity for Glenfiddich single malt Scotch whiskey, designed to blend its 139-year heritage with contemporary appeal for a modern audience, drawing inspiration from the pioneering 1960s releases that helped establish single malt as a global category. The redesign features a redefined stag, framed by the distillery's 1887 founding year, an elevated and embossed Grant family crest with the motto "Stand Fast," and a reimagined word mark incorporating sans serif typography that nods to 1960s British design while evoking modernity. Malt master Brian Kinsman emphasized the brand's ongoing spirit of innovation, balanced with respect for tradition, while global brand managing director Will Peacock described the evolution as honoring Glenfiddich's living legacy as a British luxury icon while setting the stage for its next chapter. The new packaging will roll out globally starting April 2026. The Whiskey Exchange returns with its second Welcome to Whiskey show on Friday the 27th and Saturday the 28th of February at Glazers Hall on London's South Bank, designed as an approachable, fun introduction to whiskey for beginners and the whiskey curious alike. Following last year's success with over 700 attendees, of which 30% were women, the event features more than 250 whiskeys from over 40 producers worldwide, including new participants like Lagavulin, Talisker, Highland Park, and the English Whiskey Company, plus exclusive previews from Douglas Lang and Company, Glenallachie, and the Heart Cut. Highlights include masterclasses, talks, and demonstrations led by experts such as Bushmills UK Ambassador Janice Snowden, a Fever Tree Highball showcasing whiskey cocktails, the Heart's Cut Half and Heart beer pairings, dedicated one-on-one stands, and Ask Us Counter for guidance. Co-hosted by the Heart Cut, hard for me to say, the Heart Cut co-founder Georgie Bell. The tickets start at £45, about $61 American, and are available at thewhiskeychange.com/events. Hodling and Company of San Francisco has decided to close its Pier 50 distillery to focus on its core strengths in importing and scaling premium spirits brands, following a strategic review of long-term priorities. The company will continue selling and supporting its flagship distilled brands, Junipero Gin and Old Potrero Whiskey, with supply continuity ensured through existing bulk bottled inventory and partnerships with trusted Bay Area producers. The Hirsch whiskey brand will remain sourced and developed in collaboration with other distilleries. The Pier 50 facility will undergo a structured wind down, with the company open to discussions for another business to take over the lease and equipment. Hodling emphasizes no changes to distributor networks, shipment plans, or brand investment, while current head distiller Kevin Aslan announced his departure after 15 years. The decision reflects a shift toward marketing excellence and commercial execution for sustainable growth, with the company remaining headquartered in San Francisco and maintaining its long-standing Bay Area partnerships. Diageo, owner of Johnnie Walker and other major spirits brands, has more than doubled the size of its dedicated independent on-trade and convenience retail team in the UK by recruiting over 100 new staff members. The expanded team will provide hands-on support to independent outlets, advising on optimized displays, in-store merchandising, and sharper brand execution for Diageo's portfolio, while increasing visit frequency from quarterly to monthly to deliver more consistent shopper experiences and drive category growth. The first recruits join the convenience channel on February 1st, with further onboarding continuing through March, April, and May. Channel Director Ed Gallagher emphasized that independent free trade outlets are vital to Diageo's business and local communities, and this investment reflects the company's commitment to placing them at the heart of its strategy, building on positive sales gains achieved since bringing its field and technical team in-house in 2024. Now, in cigar news, Rocky Patel Premium Cigars has announced its Year of the Horse cigar to celebrate the Chinese New Year beginning February 17, 2026, with a 7x48 box-pressed Churchill featuring a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and fillers from Honduras and Nicaragua. Priced at a MSRP of $35 per cigar and limited to 6,000 boxes of 10 cigars each, the release delivers layered notes of sweet spice, earth, espresso, caramel, and white chocolate with a rich composed finish. This marks the third consecutive year Rocky Patel has issued a Chinese Zodiac-themed cigar. Though unlike previous years, there will be no separate international market version. Shipments are scheduled to begin after the 2026 PCA convention and trade show. McAuliffe Cigars will release McAuliffe White, the mildest blend in its color series to date, beginning with availability at New Hampshire retailer Two Guys Cigars on February 26, 2026, followed by nationwide distribution on March 6th. The regular production line features a Connecticut seed wrapper, Connecticut broadleaf binder, and a Dominican Nicaraguan filler blend. Rolled at the company's Nicaragua factory, it joins the existing black, blue, green, purple, and red blends in the color series. Offered in two consistent vitolas, a Robusto 5x52 and a Toro 6x52, though pricing uniformity across all six blends remains unconfirmed in the announcement. Altadis USA has unexpectedly released the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua Profundo, an all-Nicaraguan blend with a dark extended fermentation Oscuro wrapper grown by A.J. Fernandez and Rafael Nodal to Casa de Montecristo stores nationwide ahead of its originally scheduled mid-March rollout to other retailers. Described as medium to full-bodied, the line is offered in four sizes: Robusto 5x50, Toro 6x54, Churchill 7x50, and Magnum 6x60. Casa de Montecristo, Tabacalera USA's upscale retail chain with 14 locations across Florida, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Washington, D.C., plus franchise stores, is the exclusive early outlet for this new addition into the Reserva Real Nicaragua family. And I can tell you from a personal experience, since we do have a Casa de Montecristo in Dallas, I was able to pick up a few of these cigars, and they are lovely. Wonderful, wonderful cigars. So yeah, I'll be going back to get a few more. The Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust has announced a major overhaul of its Stillwell Star line, keeping the name but revamping nearly everything else to focus on the sweeter, more aromatic blends that have driven recent sales growth. The refreshed lineup launches with 3 blends, each offered in the same 2 vitolas, a Toro 6x52 and a Petite Robusto at 5x48, and featuring a sweetened cap. Aromatic Dolce Maduro, renamed from the existing Aromatic No. 1, Aromatic Dolce Claro, a new hybrid blend inspired by previous holiday releases, and English Dolce Maduro, a tweaked version of the English No. 27, included as founder Steve Saka's personal favorite. As explained by Saka, the original 4 blends sold evenly at first, but the sweeter aromatic options No. 1, No. 22, and Holidays have surged while others have declined, prompting the shift to prioritize market preference. The cigars will debut at the 2026 PCA convention, are packaged in 13-count boxes with distinct band colors for easy identification. Once current stock of the original blends is depleted, they will not be produced again, with pricing, final packaging, and shipping details still being finalized. Casa Carrillo has announced the upcoming launch of Pledge Purple, a new full-bodied extension to its Perez Carrillo Pledge line, set to ship in staggered releases starting early March 2026. The cigar features the same decade-aged, Connecticut-grown Havana seed wrapper from Dun & Foster used on the original 2020 Pledge, paired with a new Mexican binder and Nicaraguan fillers from Esteli, Condega, and Ometepe, rolled at the company's Dominican Republic factory. Offered exclusively in a 6x54 Toro Vitola, it carries an MSRP of $18 per cigar and is limited to 3,500 boxes total. The release will feature distinctive purple bands and packaging, continuing the Pledge line's premium aesthetic. German Engineered Cigars is launching RVGN Extreme, a new regular production line to mark the company's 10th anniversary, featuring a Mexican-grown Cuban seed wrapper, Dominican Olor binder, and fillers of Dominican Piloto Cubano and Nicaraguan Criollo 98, all rolled at Intercigar SA in the Dominican Republic. Offered in a single 6 1/4 by 52 Vitola, the cigar is positioned as a more intense, demanding expression of the brand, with an MSRP of $18 per cigar, and is available in 25-count boxes and 20-count bundles. Shipments to retailers are scheduled to begin immediately after the 2026 PCA convention. La Aurora, the Dominican Republic's oldest premium cigar maker, has released the Anthony Munoz 78, a limited edition cigar honoring NFL Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz, widely regarded as one of the greatest offensive tackles in history. Debuted ahead of this last year's Super Bowl at the Ditka and Jaws Cigars with Stars event for the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, the cigar is offered in a single Grand Toro size of 6x60, featuring a Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapper, Dominican Habano binder, and a filler blend of Criollo, Corojo, Piloto, Cubano, and Pennsylvania broadleaf. Rolled at La Aurora SA in the Dominican Republic, it carries an MSRP of $18 per cigar. Initial production is limited to 1,000 boxes, primarily allocated for events and box signings in Ohio, with small portion available on anthonymunoz.com. With formal rollout in Ohio at the end of February 26 and plans for expanded formats and national launch later. Munoz expressed hope that the cigar fosters connection, conversation, and reflection, while La Aurora National Sales Director John Farragon highlighted the honor of tying the release to such a meaningful cause. Now, in upcoming events, the Bourbon Classic is happening on February 25th through the 28th in Louisville, Kentucky. Garrison Brothers is launching their first bottle and bond bourbon at their High Texas distillery on February 28th. I'm planning on attending. The Algiers Club in Dallas will host a redemption whiskey tasting on February 25th. Welcome to Whiskey will take place at Glazers Hall in London on February 27th and 28th. The Muletown Pipe Show will take place in Columbia, Tennessee at the Briarworks location on March 6th through the 8th. Whiskey Live Athens will be taking place on March 7th and 8th at Technopolis in Athens, Greece. Fink Cigars will be having their Cigar Lounge crawl on March 7th across their 4 lounges in San Antonio. I will also be attending this with a few friends. The Galena Whiskey Weekend will take place at Turner Hall in Galena, Illinois on March 7th. There will be an educational tasting for Glen Moray at the Algiers Club in Dallas, Texas on March 12th, as well as a Meet the Maker for Leaper's Fork Distillery on March 13th. The Great Smoke Festival will be happening on March 12th through the 15th at South Florida Fair in Palm Beach, Florida. Whiskey Riot Dallas will happen on March 14th at Fair Park in Dallas. On March 16th through the 18th, the Beam Institute Industry Conference will take place at the University of Kentucky. On March 21st, the Independent Spirits Festival will take place in Leith, Scotland, of which I will be attending. Also on March 21st, there will be a Meet the Maker of Mugen Spirit Whiskey with Kojin Tashiro at the Algiers Club in Dallas. Whiskey Shift Lucerne will happen on March 26th through the 28th at the Navigation Company of Lake Lucerne in Switzerland. Whiskey Live and Fine Spirits London will happen on March 27th and 28th at the Fireworks Factory in Woolwich, London. DailyCon 2026, the Cigars Daily Cigar Festival, will happen in Phoenix, Arizona, March 28th. Whiskey Riot Houston will be held on March 28th at Post Houston. The Texas Whiskey Festival will take place April 8th at Star Hill Ranch in Bee Cave, Texas. The Premium Cigar Association Trade Show is once again in New Orleans from April 17th through the 20th, of which I will be attending as a member of the press. The Chicago International Pipe Show will be happening April 30th through the May 3rd at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Chicago. The Spirit of Speyside Festival will take place April 29th through May 4th, all around the Speyside region of Scotland. Whiskey Live Melbourne will take place May 1st and 2nd at St Kilda Town Hall. Maltstock Down Under will take place at Ratho Farm in Tasmania, Australia on May 15th. And finally, the Somerton Whiskey Festival will take place at the Lower Red Lion in St Albans, England. And now we move on to our Toast the Foot in-depth interview of the week with Drew Newman of the J.C. Newman Cigar Company. He is the co-owner and general counsel of the company. We cover his time before entering the cigar industry, how he got a start with the family company, and the Cigar City book they released in the fall, and a whole bunch more. So please sit back, grab a dram, pour that glass, pick out a good stick and torch it up, grab your favorite pipe, pack the bowl with your favorite tobacco, and light away. Then, and only then, listen to the interview. Please enjoy. Good day, good people. It's Whiskey and Smoke News Network here. Chris Kumnick, your host, and I'm here talking to Drew Newman with JC Newman Cigar Company out of Tampa, Florida. Welcome, Drew.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Hey, so I want to first off get right into it. And if you wouldn't mind, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. Obviously, I know you're in the cigar family, fourth generation, if I'm correct. And, just kind of your little history. And then let's go into the JC Newman cigar history also, if you don't mind.
That's great. So my great-grandfather, Julius Caesar Newman, founded our family business in 1895, and he passed the business down to my grandfather, who passed it down to my father and uncle, who are in the process of passing it down to my cousins and me. So we are a four-generation, 130-year-old family business, still handcrafting premium cigars today the same way that my great-grandfather did a century ago. And it's a wonderful art and tradition, and it's a privilege to keep it going. When my great-grandfather started our company in 1895, there were 40,000 licensed cigar factories all across the United States. And today we are proud to have the last traditional cigar factory still rolling cigars in the United States here in the cigar city of Tampa, Florida. We also roll cigars by hand in Nicaragua and import cigars to the Dominican Republic and love sharing them with enthusiasts from around the world.
So there was 40,000 cigar companies or rollers makers at one point in the United States alone.
Well, yeah. In the late 1800s, every town, every city, every village had its own breweries, its own print shops, its own cigar factories, its own everything. There weren't national brands. And so at that time, when my great-grandfather started, the U.S. government had 40,000 cigar factories with licenses all across the country. And so we were just one of those. But of those 40,000, we're the last ones still standing.
Wow. So you guys actually started up in Cleveland, though. Is that correct?
Yes. My great-grandfather came to America in 1888 and settled with his family in Cleveland, which is where the people from their part of Austria-Hungary, their part of the old world, settled when they came to America. And my great-grandfather was 13 years old at the time, and he knew he needed to learn a skill, learn a trade in order to provide for himself and his family. And so for reasons we don't know, he decided to become a cigar maker, and he learned the art, the tradition, the craft of cigar rolling from the bottom up, starting as an apprentice, sweeping floors, getting materials, and slowly learned the trade. And then in 1895, he went into business for himself and started the J.C. Newman Cigar Company that we continue today.
That's fantastic. Seriously, that's just how long you guys have been doing it. You know what I mean? And surviving. So I've watched your dad do a few videos on YouTube, and he tells the story very well also. But
thank you.
So thank you for that very, very, very much. So now you are fourth generation. I'm assuming co-owner now. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're also their general counsel, according to your website.
That's right.
Okay, very good. You guys, by the way, have a wonderful website.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of content. We got a lot of stories, a lot of cigars, a lot of history, and we love sharing it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you guys, you have in Tampa. You do. Is it mostly machine made in Tampa, or is it like a mix? Because I know you have if I remember correct, it's called the American Room.
Yes.
American Room. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in 1954, my great-grandfather and grandfather decided to move our company from Cleveland, Ohio, down to Tampa, Florida, because Tampa had become the epicenter of the cigar world. In the mid-1900s, there were 200 cigar factories in Tampa that rolled more than 500 million cigars per year, a staggering sum. Tampa
Yeah.
was known as the fine cigar capital of the world. It was known as Cigar City. And my grandfather and great grandfather realized that for our company to continue to survive, we needed to be in Cigar City. So they moved our company down here. We moved into this beautiful, historic El Reloj cigar factory. And here inside El Reloj, we roll cigars the two traditional ways, both
Hmm.
entirely by hand, which is how we started in 1895, and also using antique hand-operated cigar machines that my great-grandfather and the rest of the cigar industry pretty much adopted during the Great Depression as a labor-saving device in order to keep cigars affordable
Okay.
when times were very tough.
Yeah. Back when like cigars were a nickel, correct? Something,
Exactly.
something to that
Yeah.
effect. Yeah. Yeah. I think your dad in one of his videos talked about that they raised the price from a nickel to 6 cents, and it was
Yeah,
not
and lost
good.
the business.
Right.
Exactly.
Tried to go back to 5 cents, but it was too late.
Didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. That's so. As far as the hand rolled in Tampa, it's the uh, it's the American is the roll there, right? Or your
We,
that
we, we
cigar.
roll a variety of brands by
Oh, you do.
hand
Okay.
here in Tampa,
Okay.
including the American, which is very unique because it's a
Hmm.
100%
Yes.
all-American cigar. Not only is every leaf of tobacco in the American grown in the United States, but all the packaging is here made here as well, from the
Right.
cigar boxes and the wood in the cigar boxes to the labels, the bands, the cellophane, the hinges, everything from
Is
start to
American.
finish in the American
Excellent.
is made in America. So it's a 100% all-American cigar. We also roll a special cigar called Angel Cuesta here in Tampa.
Yeah.
Angel Cuesta was the official cigar of the King of Spain a century ago. It's got a beautiful pigtail cap that looks like a halo, and
Okay.
it's a beautiful cigar, both in a rosado and a shade blend.
Yes.
We have a collaboration with the Leroy Newman Foundation. Leroy Newman was
Yeah.
a famous American painter.
I
And
actually
the,
have some of his prints.
oh, really?
Yeah, I love Leroy Neiman. Good stuff. Yes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So when I saw that you guys did that, I was like, oh, very, very cool. Yeah.
Well, he
So,
was famous for two things. One is handlebar
hmm,
mustache, and
yeah.
two for always having a cigar when he painted.
Yes. Yep.
And so it's a privilege to roll cigars using his art here in Tampa. And then we have another brand that we roll here by hand in Tampa called Tampa Smokers. Since Tampa was Cigar City, of course, our first professional sports team here was known as the Smokers. And they had
Yeah.
a cigar on the front of the jersey. It was a minor league baseball team, and so we're celebrating that history by rolling a cigar that tells that story. And we've got other projects in the works, and it's a
Very, very
great
cool.
way
Yeah.
to showcase the centuries old tradition of
Yeah.
American cigar making.
Very cool. No, you guys, again, out of, you know, I mean, I guess when people think of American cigars, they think of you. To me, that's just what I gather. And you guys do a lot of really cool special projects like that. So, I mean, it's, yeah. So, very much. Now, if you don't mind, I want to talk about this thing
Thank you.
here.
Yes.
So,
Our new book.
your new book, your new, what, it came out in October or
It did.
November? Yeah.
We received it in October and started
Yeah,
rolling it out in November. It's a beautiful
it is.
book that documents the
Truly.
cigar
I
factories
mean,
that are still
this,
standing in
yeah,
Tampa. And so it's a beautiful book
yes.
um, that captures the 25 cigar factories of the 200 that were here. There 25 are still standing in
Okay.
various states of restoration or repair and use, and the book captures them today. And we commissioned a award-winning documentary photographer, Zach Whitman,
Yeah.
to photograph these factories as a way to celebrate the 140th anniversary of Tampa's Ybor City Historic Cigar District.
Okay, so you guys came down about 10 years after. Oh, well, I say sorry. Your great grandfather great grandfather
You're right. Started
started his
after.
company in
Yep,
Cleveland 130 years ago.
exactly.
So Ybor City though has been around for 140. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that long. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So the book it's a beautiful publication,
Hmm.
and
So
it
it's
has a
great
like
photos. It's
218
printed on
photos.
wonderful paper. Everything. I mean, Zach did a great job. I'm sure. I mean, I know you had a hand in it, probably getting access to all this stuff. It appears to me it's like you have. It's almost in a chronological where you show stuff as it was, and then in states of repair.
Yeah.
uh, and I'm assuming some of your stuff is even your buildings in here too, correct?
Exactly. Yes, our
Yeah.
factory's in here with the other cigar factories, and
Okay.
there's a very uh, similar architectural style. Most of the cigar factories in Tampa were built in the same architectural style, 3 stories plus a half basement, running east to west, mostly out of brick, um, about 50 feet wide, and
Yep.
so there's a distinct style. And what also is interesting is that the cigar factories in Tampa were part of the community. Today, you think of an industrial area with factories, and it's usually
Yeah.
set off from homes, set off from retail behind fences. But the cigar factories in Tampa were integrated in the neighborhoods, the communities. The
Okay.
workers lived around the factories. They shopped, that they ate, that they drank around the factories, and so that the factory buildings that are still standing are very much part of the community here. And
Sure.
so the book not only showcases the buildings, but also their setting and the neighborhoods that surround them. And so it's just a very unique work, and we hope that it helps tell the story of the cigar industry in Tampa and its legacy today, and hopefully it will be enjoyed by people for years to come.
So you mentioned that there's similar, construction types, and by looking at the book, you can absolutely. That's one of the first things I saw. Was like, oh, this one kind of looks like this one, and it's very, I
Right.
mean, so they are very similar. Different facades, different colors, yada yada. But was there that you know of? Was there a reason? Was it just mainly to fit? Obviously, the lot size determined how wide. But
Yeah.
was there a reason why there were all 3 floors? Was it to help the way the cigars were built, or
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great
yeah,
question. So the Tampa sort of cigar architectural style exists for a couple of reasons. First of all, the buildings were laid out to maximize the amount of natural light that would come in the building, which is why they run east to west
yeah,
and have very large windows.
okay,
We need a lot of light in order to inspect tobacco, inspect
hmm,
cigars. You have to see them and see them very clearly. And so
got
the
it,
natural light really helps for that. And the orientation also helps for breezes and winds and keeping the buildings cool during the hot summers that we have
okay,
here.
okay,
And then lastly, the buildings, the cigar factories in Tampa were all built in a very similar way because the same functions were performed in the
hmm,
same place in each factory.
yeah,
Cigars were rolled on the second floor, the wrappers were prepared, the outer leaf was prepared in the basement, the inside the filler leaves were prepared on the third floor, the offices, shipping, the warehouse was on the first floor,
okay,
and so the same functions were performed in the same place, and that made it easier for workers to move from factory to factory because they were doing each factory does similar work in
yeah.
similar places, and so it just helped make the industry more efficient too.
No, okay, that totally makes sense, and I figured it was something to that effect. There are definitely other industries that do similar things, slightly different, but that makes perfect sense and well thought out,
Very much so.
from way back when. So now, how many are still standing again currently?
So there, of the 200 cigar factories that were once
Yep,
in Tampa, 25 of them are still
25.
standing.
And How many are actually? I mean, you said there's still some in being refurbished or what am I
Yeah,
trying to
so
say?
our factory, El
Yeah.
Rouleau, the Clock Tower Cigar Factory, is the last operating cigar factory,
Yes.
not
Okay.
only
Yeah.
here in Tampa, but the last one in the country. But the other factory buildings here in Tampa are in various states and have various purposes. Some of them are now office buildings. One is a sort of eye research institute.
Okay.
Another houses classrooms for a local university. Actually, two of them do. One is used as a winery. Some are being restored and are in various states right now, and some haven't been touched in
Yeah. Okay.
decades. And so, what the book shows is a sort of point in time capture of where these buildings are.
Yeah.
And so I think when you flip through the pages of the book, it just becomes alive.
Yes.
Um, and it's very exciting.
When were most of the photographs taken?
They were taken in 2024
Okay.
mostly,
Okay.
and the book features about 200 of Zach Whitman's photographs of these books, but these are 200 of about 12,000 that he images that
Took.
he took during his many scouting trips.
Sure.
Here in
Yeah.
Tampa, we benefit from a commercial photography studio called the Burgett Brothers that seem to photograph pretty much everything in our area in the middle of the 20th century. They're
Yeah.
beautiful black and white photographs, and many, probably most, have been digitized. And the Burgett Brothers Library is a great resource to us and to
Oh
many
yeah.
other researchers and historians, just showing what life was like, what these buildings in Tampa was like
Yeah.
50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. And my hope is that the 12,000 photos that Zach Whitman took become a modern version
Yes.
of this,
Yeah.
and will become a library of images that historians and researchers and cigar enthusiasts can reference 50, 60, 70, 80 years from now. And so
Yeah.
I think that the product of this project is not only the book that's in your hand, but also this 12,000 image library that hopefully can be helpful to future generations.
I mean, I don't know why you didn't want to put out like a 5,000 page book and just have it stand this tall off the counter. I mean, you could have just done all 12,000 photos. No.
We would not have been able to process all of that. Too
Exactly. No,
much. It's
I
hard enough
totally.
putting a book like this together because we're not publishers.
Yeah.
This is not what we do, but it's a privilege to be able to share it with
Yeah.
everyone.
No, it's again fantastic. Love it. I'm very honored, and I think I will. I know. Sorry, I will see you down at PCA. So if you don't mind, I'm going to bring the book and maybe have you sign it for me, if you
Of
don't mind.
course, we would love that.
Okay,
Thank you.
fantastic. No, that's wonderful. Okay, so book, fantastic. Love it. Zach was great to work with. I'm sure. I mean, I saw a bunch of his other stuff. Kind of, did a little bit of research on him too. So
Yes. Yeah, he's a documentary photographer that really travels around the state of Florida, largely freelancing
okay,
for the New York Times, Washington Post,
yeah,
Wall Street Journal, similar publications. When they're doing a story on Florida and they need images, they often call Zach, and he drives around. But I would say, Zach is probably in the earlier stages of his career.
yeah,
So this was a new type of project for him.
right.
Normally, he photographs a subject for a story and just spend a couple hours with them, not
Hmm.
weeks at a
Yeah,
time
yeah,
on the same subject. And I'm also very proud that this is the first book of Zach Whitman's photographs, and so
that's fantastic.
it really is, and um, just really thrilled to be able to have this piece, and I'm so glad that you and others are
Yeah,
enjoying it.
yeah. No, again, I've seen it in a bunch of cigar lounges here into the Dallas area, so that's also
Great,
good and well received, definitely.
thank
So,
you.
Okay, so you guys are also doing something which I love truly. Uh, I'm a veteran, so again, just it speaks to me to my heart. You guys are the official America 250 cigar. Is that a way to put it, or how would you guys
Sure.
describe that?
Exactly. And so obviously this year, 2026, is the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. And a decade ago, Congress established the United States Semi-Quincentennial Commission and America 250 to organize the celebration of this major anniversary.
Yes.
And the commission and America 250 have spent a lot of time thinking about how to commemorate the anniversary, including involving many American companies.
Hmm.
And we're very proud that we are able to roll official cigars with America 250 branding, celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country, which is only fitting because we're the last cigar factory still here.
Yep.
Cigars are an integral part of the American story, and cigars are used to celebrate great
Yes.
occasions like major milestones.
Yeah.
But if we go back in time and think about the earliest days of the Americas, I mean, cigars were so important to the founding of our country.
Yes.
The first crop of tobacco was planted in the Virginia colony in 1612, and it was that moment that really made the colonies successful and sustainable. And that tobacco crops spread all across the 13 colonies and
Yes.
fueled the economy of the early Americas. At the time of the Revolution, 250 years ago, cigar tobacco was grown in all 13 colonies. Cigars were rolled in all 13 colonies, and founders like George Washington
Yeah.
and Thomas Jefferson had farms that grew tobacco. And so it only seems fitting that we celebrate this major occasion with beautiful hand rolled cigars
Yes.
made in the United States with America 250 branding on it. And so we are just getting ready to really release many of these cigars to celebrate the anniversary this year.
Now, which brands and which cigars will be getting those bands?
So pretty much all the cigars that we roll by hand
Okay.
here in Tampa
Okay.
that we will release this year will have a very special footer band with the
Excellent.
official America 250 logo on it
Yes.
and an America 250 seal, and it's very exciting. I feel like here we're recording this at the beginning of February. I feel like people are just starting to wake up to the fact that we've got this major
Right.
anniversary
Yeah.
coming. But
Yeah.
as the closer we get to July 4th, I think the more excitement that will build, and it really will
Absolutely.
be a major milestone. And it's a real privilege to be able to celebrate it and be part of the celebration.
Yeah. It's a little short side story for on my side. I've got some friends who own a distillery north here in Denison, Texas, called Iron Republic
Okay.
Distillery, and I was up there the other day talking to the two brothers, and I was like, "Well, do you guys have anything, special planned or anything like that?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, I know they do something for Father's Day." And I said, "Well, what about the 250th birthday of America?"
What?
They're like, "Oh, yeah, we didn't think about that." So it's yeah, just agreeing with you that
It's coming.
it's coming, and yes, so they're now scrambling to try to see if they can actually do something for it. But I'm just again reiterating that yeah, you're right. I think people are almost sleeping on it, and I don't know why. It's because it's pretty important. I mean,
It is.
I
And these
was
are a
I was
lot.
born.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born before. I was born in 1970, so I'm 55. I'll be 56 when it happens this year. So I was around for 200,
Do you remember?
So
Do you remember
I
the
do
excitement in
remember.
'76?
I do. It was amazing. Truly. I mean, the spirit of 76 everywhere. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it was truly, really, really nice. I do really hope that it does, get a little more. Yeah. So
Excellent.
definitely.
Well, we are excited to be part of the program, and I truly can think of no better way to celebrate this major milestone for our
Absolutely.
country
Yeah.
than lighting a cigar,
Agreed.
which has its origins back to before our country was even founded.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Because of what the Indians actually had it when Columbus
Yeah.
stepped onto. I guess was it Cuba or was it Puerto Rico that he's actually stepped onto? I forget. Don't remember.
A lot of people claimed a connection to Columbus, but
Yes. Yeah.
you know, tobacco
Yes.
is a native um, is native to the Americas,
Yeah.
and there's a rich history here of it, and we love sharing it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you guys, that's America 250. Now, you guys, as I think we mentioned it a little earlier, you guys are celebrating your currently, as we speak,
Yes.
your 130th anniversary. And I was lucky enough to go out and buy
Oh, look at that!
your
The
one of your Diamond
beautiful,
Crowns. Yes,
it's a beautiful,
that
brand new
that came out of one of the
humidors.
130th
Yes.
humidors. So wonderful, and
Thank you.
that's like the last one I have. So
Thank you.
I'm going to enjoy it. It's
Thank you, Chris.
just fantastic.
Enjoy.
Good stuff. Yeah, but yeah, 130th. That's fantastic. Good for you guys.
Thank you. Yes, it's a real privilege to be able to keep our family tradition growing, and we're not only the last cigar factory still operating in the country, but we're the oldest cigar maker here in the United States, and so it's a great tradition and
Hmm.
history, and we love sharing it. The cigar you held up is our Diamond Crown Classic
Yes. Yep.
Bellicoso #9. Diamond Crown is one of my great grandfather's original cigar brands from 100 years ago, and then it sort of fell by the wayside and faded away around World War II.
Okay.
Then in 1995, my grandfather Stanford Newman and Carlito Fuente uh, created Diamond Crown Classic to celebrate our 100th anniversary
Okay.
as a company. And so here we are 30
Yeah.
years later for our 130th anniversary. We refreshed and reinvigorated our Diamond Crown Classic packaging and brand and introduced
Hmm.
that new size that you just held, the Bellicoso #9. And
Yeah.
we love
Yes.
sharing it.
Yeah. So you mentioned something there that I think maybe most people if you're in the cigar world, but you guys do have a tie with Arturo Fuente.
Yes,
Can you go into that a little bit?
of course. So Tampa's place in the cigar industry peaked in the sort of the middle of the 20th century, and then in the latter half of the 20th century, the cigar industry here started to decline, and it did for a couple of reasons, but largely because cigars are made by hand. That involves a lot of labor, and labor costs are much higher here in the United States than they are in Latin America. So in the 70s and accelerating into the 80s and the 90s, one by one, Tampa cigar factories started to close
Okay.
and move their operations overseas. And so by the early 1980s, the Fuente family, the Newman family, were two of just a couple of families still rolling cigars left in Tampa. And at that point in time, Carlos Fuente Sr. and his son Carlito Fuente
Hmm.
decided to close their factory in Tampa to concentrate their efforts on building their factory in the Dominican Republic.
Okay. Right.
And so Carlos Fuentes Sr. approached my grandfather, Stanford Newman. They'd been friends for decades.
Hmm.
And Carlos Fuentes Sr. said, I'm closing my factory. Will you make cigars for me here in Tampa? And my grandfather said, of course. Will you make cigars for
Yeah.
me in the Dominican Republic? And
Yeah.
Carlos Fuentes Sr. said, of course. And so with a handshake, they formed a partnership. And we've been rolling cigars together, selling cigars together ever since, and we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary of that handshake in about 10 days on Valentine's Day.
Fantastic.
So it's yeah, it's very exciting.
That's great. No, and again, that's
Two old, two old school
yeah,
family businesses. You know, if you
yeah,
look at the cigar industry today, Arturo Fuente and J.C. Newman are the two 100-plus-year-old, four-generation family businesses, and
yeah,
so I think that's why this relationship just persists because it's just so deep, and
yeah.
and both our families have kind of seen it all by this point.
I'm going to backtrack just for a second because I wanted to ask you. So, is in the book, or let me ask you this: Arturo Fuente's factory in Tampa,
Hmm.
did it
Yes.
survive? So, okay, so is it in the book then?
Oh, absolutely. So,
Okay, excellent.
the Fuente family and Arturo Fuente have had a series of cigar factories um, in Tampa, and actually, two of their historic factories are in the book.
Okay,
Um, Presently, they do not roll cigars in Tampa,
no,
but they've got a
right,
large
exactly, yes,
headquarters here, and they're in the historic Charles the Great cigar factory here in
okay,
Tampa's Ybor City Historic District, and so there's many images of that factory in the book.
excellent.
But before the Charles the Great building, they were in a smaller factory about 2 blocks from El Rolo, our
Ah,
factory where I am now, and Liana Fuente is restoring that factory right now. In her factory, that factory uh, is, uh, is in the book as well. I think there's
okay.
a picture that shows some chalk sort of
Hmm.
letters that Arturo Fuente Sr., her great grandfather, wrote 100 years
Wow,
ago. So
that
it's a neat piece of history in the book as well.
no, fantastic. That's great. Okay, 'cause yeah, I figured it was tied in, but sometimes when people leave, their factory might get torn down or repurposed. But I'm glad that theirs are still there. So
Yes.
the other thing you mentioned, and I didn't quite get the like spatial, but you guys put out some press releases about a hotel project that you guys
Right.
are helping, I guess, restore. Would that be correct?
Yes. And
Okay.
so our El Rolo Cigar Factory here in Tampa is in the Ybor City Historic Cigar District.
Okay.
And about 6 years ago, we restored this factory uh, and opened it to the public for the first
Hmm.
time. 6 years ago, if you came here, you'd be able to walk up the front steps, go inside to the little office, and that was it. It was
Yeah.
not The building was not designed for tourism,
Hmm.
but we were inspired by all the wineries and distilleries and
Yeah.
breweries all around the country that have become destinations for tours and events and tastings and classes. And we said, well, why can't we do that for cigars here in Cigar City? So for our 125th anniversary, we restored our El Relo factory,
Yeah.
opened it to the public, and we began offering guided factory tours, cigar rolling classes, tobacco tasting classes,
Nice.
hosting a whole range of private events, and so
Nice.
much more, and have made our factory into the destination for cigar enthusiasts in the United States. But we didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
We're cigar makers. We know how to make
Hmm.
cigars. We know how to sell cigars. That's what we do.
Yeah.
The whole tourism side is brand new, but much to our surprise, people came, and
Yeah.
they kept coming. And last year we had 23,000 visitors visit us,
Just wonderful.
which is an
Yeah.
amazing number. So it's inspired
Hmm.
us to do more. So we transformed a vacant lot on one side of the factory into a beautiful park that
Okay.
we have dedicated to the cigar workers of Tampa who built the industry over the last 140 years. And it's a
Hmm.
great place, especially when the weather's nice like it is now
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
to enjoy a cigar. And
Hmm.
on the other side of the factory, we are in the process of restoring a 115-year-old building. This factory was built in 1910, and that
Okay.
building across the street opened a few months later, also 1910. And
Okay.
whereas the cigars were rolled in this factory, that building is where cigar workers went to eat, to drink, to
Ah,
stay. It was a hub for cigar workers, neighbors, visitors. And a
okay.
hundred years ago, it had a restaurant on the first floor, and a bar on the first floor, and a small hotel on the second floor. And all we were doing is following the best practices of historic preservation
Hmm.
and restoring to the building to the way it was a century ago.
Okay.
When it reopens later this year, it will have a restaurant, a cigar lounge on the first floor, and a small hotel on the second floor.
Excellent. That's so cool. I hope to come and see it. So very,
Thank you. We would love
yeah, it's
to have
yeah.
you
No,
visit and
it,
share the story
I
of cigars in Tampa.
absolutely. It's so I've been smoking cigars since the cigar boom in the early '90s, and
Okay,
so but not a lot. I mean, it was just I would smoke cigars, So
that's the typical consumer. Just
yeah. So, but lately, probably the last 2 years is where I've really gotten back into it. I mean, like really back into it enough
wonderful.
to where I wanted to start a podcast. A podcast. So,
Yeah,
um, and oh my gosh, has everything changed? I mean, back then it was it was Partagas, it was Arturo Fuente. I mean, it was just Macanudo. Just very limited amount of brands, and now, whew, you
yeah.
can't.
The industry continues to evolve, which is a wonderful thing.
Yes, yes,
In my view, there's room for
yeah.
everyone to be successful,
Hmm.
and the industry is stronger, and it's better for everybody. That the more new, interesting cigar brands that come to the market, um, and so we love it. The only time I'll ever worry about the cigar industry is if people stop opening new shops, and
Yeah,
if people stop creating new cigar brands and new cigars.
right.
That's the
Yeah,
only time I will worry about the business.
yeah. I know. So obviously I cover whiskey and things like that also, and that industry is really being affected right now.
Yeah,
There's quite a large downturn
I've
in that
read.
sector.
Yeah,
So, but
I often look towards the spirits industry or alcohol industry as a whole because I think there's a
mhm,
lot of similarities
sure.
between cigars and wine or spirits or
Hmm.
beer. And certainly all those industries saw a huge upswing during the
Oh
pandemic,
yes, very much
and
so.
they usually move together. But right now, the cigar industry has leveled off here in the United
Hmm.
States. Isn't really declining. Certainly not like how I read about
No, right.
bourbon, whiskey, and
Yes.
the alcohol world, in the
Yeah.
beer world too. And I don't understand. I, I don't understand how that happened or how the companies are dealing with it.
It seems to be that there's a lot of cost cutting going on, and almost retraction versus but there's other areas where people are actually doing really well. Your bigger brands are they're going to make it no problem.
Okay.
A lot of your craft distilleries. There was a report put out last year that in 1 year a little over 25% of the craft distilleries in the United States closed last year.
Really?
From like
Wow.
September of 24 to September 25, 25% have closed. So, it's most of those started during the pandemic. So they did not have market penetration. They didn't, you know what I mean? So, and now that people are coming back, they're just not being able to sell. So, company
Wow.
like yours, it's you're going to be fine, I think.
I mean, the cigar industry is stable,
Yeah, yeah.
and also the research tells us that the typical consumer enjoys 1 to 2 cigars a month, and
Hmm.
so cigars. Some people enjoy more, some enjoy fewer, usually weather dependent,
Yep.
um, and so cigars are generally enjoyed as a occasional
Hmm.
thing for relaxation and celebration. And so I think we're in good shape, at least for now, as
Yeah,
an industry, um, and hopefully that will continue.
yeah. Cigar Insider just put out their 2025 survey for
Mhm.
of the
Right.
shops in the country, and yeah, it's still growing, but it has definitely tapered off in the cigar industry as far as compared to a year ago or 2 years ago. I know 2 years ago was just bonkers, from what I
Yes,
understand. Yeah.
for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I think cigars in general. I mean, it's a little more price. You could buy a $10 cigar. You can't find a lot of $10 whiskey, or if you do, it's not going to be very good. Whereas you can find a
True.
lot of really good $10 cigars. So,
Absolutely.
so I think in that sense, price wise,
That's a good point. I
cigars
hadn't
will.
considered that as perhaps one of the reasons why the cigar
Yeah.
industry hasn't gone through the same
Hmm.
s-
Yeah. And,
downturn
yeah.
as
It's
alcohol.
all spirits. I mean, wine is crazy. Beer, craft beer is. I wouldn't say it's dead, but not a lot of. I mean,
It's
unless you have had a brand for a long time and had market penetration. Yeah, not a good time to be a craft beer producer either, unfortunately.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
but yeah, enough about other industries. Let's get back to you. So, you guys. So okay. So you're I'm going to finish up the hotel project, which should be done
Mhm.
sometime this year.
By the end of the year, that we're on
Okay.
schedule to reopen by the end of the year.
That's fantastic. And will it? I know you probably said it, so I apologize. There will be the second floor will have some a small hotel still. Yeah.
Yes, we'll have 11 guest rooms
Okay.
upstairs, a beautiful first full service restaurant downstairs,
Wow.
and a first class cigar lounge downstairs as well.
There you have to, right?
Exactly.
Have to. Um, has let me ask you a question. City of Tampa, very receptive. I mean, sometime in today's world, it's not good to be friendly to smoking. Let's just say smoking in general. I mean, pipes, cigars, any kind of smoking. So Tampa is pretty good about that.
I would say there's no place in the United States as more cigar friendly
Yeah.
than the city of Tampa.
Okay.
And it's largely because there's a great respect and appreciation for the
Yeah.
fact that the cigar industry is what built our city
Right.
140
Okay.
years ago. And anyone whose family's been here for more than a few generations, their ancestors rolled cigars or
Mm-hmm.
made cigar boxes or printed cigar labels or cooked lunches for the cigar workers. And so our local government, the city
Fantastic. Yeah.
government, the county government, it doesn't really matter if you're Democrat, Republican,
Yeah. Yep.
Independent. There's a great sort of appreciation and respect for the cigar industry here.
Yeah.
And cigars are one of the things that really distinguishes Tampa from Dallas
Yep.
or Atlanta or Charlotte
Yeah.
or Austin or other places
Mm-hmm.
in the American South. And so there's just a really great, rich tradition of cigars here in the cigar city of Tampa, and it's our privilege to be able to share it.
No, that's great. I hope so and assumed so, but you never know.
Yeah.
Some
You know,
people can
it's
forget.
really
Could
wonderful.
forget.
Our government couldn't be
Good.
more supportive,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really matter if you smoke cigars or not. Half of the visitors who come to our factory love cigars, and
Hmm.
half have never picked up a cigar in their life, and they likely won't. And
Yeah.
that's okay. But
Yeah.
they still come here to learn about Tampa's history and historic manufacturing and architecture and so much more. And so we get to share Tampa's legacy as Cigar City with visitors from around the world, and we're very fortunate to be so supported by our local government.
No, that's fantastic. Okay, so you guys, again, we talked a little bit about this. You guys do a lot of cool, special things. So one of the things that I've actually enjoyed for the last couple of years, I'm going to show you one,
Oh,
is
Bricktoberfest.
Bricktoberfest. That's your 2024 and your
Wow,
2025.
that's right.
So, and so people know,
Our
really
Bricktoberfest
nice little,
cigars.
yeah, really nice Lancero.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and they're wonderful. Truly, truly, I love smoking those because it's yeah, good stuff. So you guys do that. Is it, will that continue, the Bricktoberfest, do you think, or is that going to
So it
be
is,
okay?
yes. And so Brick House is one of my great
Yeah.
grandfather's original cigar brands. And if you look at that Stein, the
Hmm.
house on that Stein comes from the original Brick House cigar label from 100 years ago. And my great grandfather created that design to remind himself of the house where he was born. And so my
Okay.
great grandfather, Julius Caesar Newman, was born in a small village in Austria-Hungary in 1875,
Hmm.
and the family house was the only house in the village made out of brick.
Okay.
The first floor was a local tavern general store, and my family, my ancestors, lived on the second floor. It was a beautiful rural setting
Hmm.
with farmland and animals. It was a great life. And my great grandfather left that very pastoral setting, spent 6 weeks at sea, crossing the Atlantic in search of the American dream, and ended up in industrial
Yeah.
era Cleveland,
Clear.
Ohio. It was
Yeah.
loud and crowded and
Hmm.
dirty and full of life.
Yeah.
And my great grandfather missed the village where he was born. He missed his homeland. And so he created Brick House to remember where he came from. And
Fantastic.
so um, every time you see a Brick House cigar label in the
Yep.
house in the front, I mean, that's a house where my great grandfather was born.
Excellent.
And just with the close association between beer and Oktoberfest
Yep.
for Germany and Austria,
Yep.
Hungary as well. I mean, I'm certain that people celebrated uh, in the tavern on the first floor of the Brick House in Austria-Hungary with a beer and maybe even cigars 150 years ago,
Exactly. Yeah.
and so it only seems fitting that we celebrate Oktoberfest and that tradition with our brick house cigars, and we call it Bricktoberfest.
Yep. No. Love it. Love it. It's I think most branding works well if there's a great story behind it, and that is a great story. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
I'm sure it's easy for you to tell because it's real. You know what I mean? It's not something that's
exactly.
just brand produced. So that's
It
great.
is. It is real.
You guys also recently came out with is it Gasparilla for Jose Gaspar?
Yes, Tampa has
Yes.
2-century-old traditions.
Yep.
Cigars were first rolled here in 1886, and then in 1904, Tampa created a tradition that's called Gasparilla, modeled on Mardi Gras,
Okay.
and the 122-year-old Gasparilla tradition celebrates the story of a mythical pirate and who sails into Tampa Bay, takes the key of the city from the mayor, and throws a giant festival and
Excellent.
parade, which was just this past Saturday, that attracts hundreds of thousands of people. It's just a wonderful community event that has grown in
Excellent.
lots of different ways,
Yeah.
but it's very authentically Tampa. And so we thought it'd be great to bring these two traditions together
Hmm.
with a Jose Gaspar cigar. And so we
Yeah.
make a Jose Gaspar cigar for Gasparilla and share it just here in Tampa
Yep.
during the January, February Gasparilla season.
Yeah, I'm gonna be making a few calls to some local brick and mortars to see if I can possibly get some because
They won't have them in Dallas, but
no, yeah, exactly.
but
That's what I'm
they're
saying.
around.
So yeah,
There's a few places that have sell them online, and
yeah,
they are also available here in the cigar city of Tampa.
gotcha. Very cool. We mentioned earlier that you guys do something for the Tampa Smokers, and I don't think we really went into what it is, but
Yeah,
well, you mentioned that it is a minor league baseball team,
exactly.
but you guys make these cigars that look like bats,
Right.
and it's
Of course. Why not?
I mean, it's no, it's fabulous. It's so cool. I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure it takes I think you said those are hand rolled in Tampa.
Yes,
So I'm sure it takes your very most skilled people to do that. So yeah,
it does, but it's a fun way to celebrate
yeah,
the centuries old tradition of cigars and baseball.
yeah,
100 years ago, men would sit in the outfield in the grandstand watching baseball games and
Hmm.
light up a cigar. Everyone did it, and
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
cigars have always been connected to baseball,
Yeah.
and so we thought, what better way to celebrate this connection than with a Tampa Smokers cigar?
No, that's, and I'll put up a image of it in the video when we get here. But
Thank you.
um, also, you guys are rather, and unfortunately, so I'm a Chicago boy from
Okay.
where I was born. So, but I have moved to Texas, so I love the Dallas Stars. Also love the Blackhawks. That's not a lot to like, but you guys have had some really good luck here lately in your NHL with the
Mhm.
Lightning. So you guys do a lot of things with the Lightning, also.
Yes, I remember when the Lightning came to Tampa in the early 1990s, and nobody had any idea what ice hockey was or why you would play
Yeah.
it
Well,
in a
in
state as
Florida.
warm as Florida. But the Lightning for the past 30 plus years have become
Yeah.
just a huge part of our
Yeah.
community and such a really beloved part of our community. And they've had an incredible run, really, for the past probably dozen years or so
Yeah.
of just outstanding teams. And we're proud to be a partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning here
Fantastic.
at the Benchmark International Arena, the home of the
Yes.
Lightning. We
Yeah.
operate a J.C. Newman Cigar Lounge, which is the only
Oh,
place in the NHL where you can watch hockey and smoke a cigar at the same time. And so,
that's very, very true,
want to
because
come
I know,
down
yeah, you can't,
for
you go
a Blackhawks game, you can come to our lounge and light
yeah.
up a cigar and
Yeah.
watch the game through glass, and
Yeah.
it's great. But it just really speaks to the connection between cigars and everything that Tampa is, and so um, it's really
Uh, I know I've seen the news lately that you guys are also going to be getting a brand new, or I guess they're going to redo the football stadium for the Buccaneers with a rather large amount of money. Is that something that you guys are considering, maybe doing even a cigar lounge and something like that?
We'd welcome to have a
Maybe.
cigar lounge in Raymond James Stadium, home of the Bucks, as well as actually this morning the Tampa Bay Rays, our baseball
Ah,
team, announced plans for a new stadium, and we hope to have a cigar lounge there as well. We
okay.
used to have one in the Rays' old stadium
Yeah.
for many years, but it's a great tradition, and
Okay.
we love to have it.
Okay, so because I was probably still talking when you were talking, so I apologize. So you currently do have one at Raymond James, or you're
No,
going, you will, but you will have one.
Raymond James has never had a cigar
Okay,
lounge,
okay,
largely, I think, due to NFL policies. We had one at Tropicana Field home, the current home of the Tampa Bay Rays
right.
from 1997 to 2017,
Hmm.
and then they renovated uh, the stadium, and unfortunately, the cigar lounge was a victim of the renovation. But
Got
hopefully,
it.
the new stadium will have a cigar lounge too. That's our
Okay.
hope.
Is the does NFL still have that policy as
Uh,
far as?
as far as I know, yes, but
Okay,
we've got a
okay,
great relationship with the Bucks. We
yeah,
made some cigars for them
excellent.
last year to
Yep.
celebrate their 50th season, and we would welcome
Yeah,
being
right.
able to
Yeah.
share the Tampa cigar tradition with any of our hometown teams.
No, that's great. That's great. Okay, so obviously you could tell you guys are all in on Tampa. I mean, everything,
It's our
it's
home.
yeah, it's your home. Exactly. So, um, that's, unusual that, you know what I mean? As far as, most companies aren't, they just don't identify with that city like that. So that, to me, that's fantastic. That
We
I
live
love
here.
that you
This is
guys,
our
I love,
home.
yeah, I love that everything that you guys do, you're tied in with all the sporting, again, I'm sure, and I know you guys probably are very well tied in with charities and everything of that nature too. So, um,
95% of our sales are outside of Tampa. We,
yep.
we sell cigars all around the world. It's a
Hmm.
small industry, but cigars are found everywhere. And so our business is not really here in Tampa,
Yep.
but our home is here, our heart is
Yes.
here, and
Yeah.
we love being able to be community members and to support the community that we love and call home.
Excellent. Okay, so I have a couple extra, so it's little quick questions for you. Um, Spirits wise, do you have a favorite type of drink that you like to, if or and you might
Pair
not
with a
even drink. I
cigar?
don't know. So with a cigar,
No,
maybe, yeah. No,
no. Sorry.
yeah,
And the reason is when I light up
yeah,
a cigar,
yeah,
I'm in the back of my mind. I'm always tasting it. I'm
yeah,
tasting just to see how's it taste.
yeah,
Is the blend correct? Is the
yeah,
construction good? Are there any issues? Is it consistent? And so I very intentionally don't drink anything when uh, I light up a cigar simply because I don't want to interfere with that
yeah.
process at
No.
all.
How about without a cigar? I mean, do you enjoy a good whiskey or anything like that at
I
times?
do, yeah, but I really drink everything,
Okay,
and
okay,
I don't think too much about it,
yeah.
and so
Do you
uh,
prefer Scotch or like a bourbon?
like I'm more of a bourbon.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Keep it America.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. And then lastly, since, I also delve into pipes and pipe tobacco, do you ever smoke a pipe?
No,
No. Okay.
never
I
smoked a
was going
pipe.
to never smoked a pipe.
Um, no, just
Okay.
too many cigars to try, and it's like yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. In your
But there's a
world,
great tradition
that's,
of
yeah.
pipes, and it's
Yes.
interesting. In my lifetime, I've seen the industry shift considerably. When I
Hmm.
was a little kid, more pipes were smoked than cigars.
Yeah.
You'd go into a traditional tobacconist, and the pipes would be up front,
Hmm.
pipe tobacco would be in the middle, and cigars would be relegated to a little humidor in the
Right.
back of the store. And
Yep.
now pipes is largely gone by
Oh, yeah.
the
Yes.
wayside, and
Hmm.
it's for some reason, for a couple reasons that make sense, but it's a little sad, and I'm sorry that we're losing that tradition a little bit.
Well, believe it or not, it is picking up slightly. It's nothing like what used to be. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, there used to be millions and millions of pipes made every year. Out of Europe and even the United States.
Exactly, and pipe tobacco is a huge
Um,
part of
oh yeah,
the industry in the United States, but there's only a few manufacturers left, and
yes,
it's
yeah.
shrinking
Well,
by the year.
in the United States, there's pretty much just Cornell and Deal is left as far as true, real
Yeah,
producers. Everything else got gobbled up by STG. So, which is it is what it is.
what it is.
Sutliff will be missed. But again, that's business. It's capitalism.
It's the way the industry is right now.
Exactly. Well, Drew, hey, thank you so much. I really, really, really
Pleasure,
appreciate your
Chris.
time.
Thank you.
And look forward to hopefully again seeing you at PCA and
Yes,
meeting face to face. Putting and again,
I
I'll
look
bring my
forward to
book
it.
and hopefully you can sign it for me. So
I would love that. Thank you
good.
so
Well,
much, Chris.
absolutely. Thank you, and we'll hopefully see you later. Thanks again. Have a
Sounds
great day.
great.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Let me I want to thank Drew for taking some time and sitting down with me for a wonderful interview. And now in this segment is what I like to call, what is Chris putting in his mouth? The dram of the week is non-existent. I was dealing with a head cold all week and didn't really feel like having any drinks or smokes. So no dram of the week and no smokes, no cigars, no pipes. So I am feeling better now. So everything will be returning to normal next week. So please forgive me, but that is what happens when you get sick. So anyway, now, as always, I want to thank you for joining me on this amazing journey to learn all that I can about these three amazing industries. I hope that you were able to learn something new from this episode, but more importantly, I hope that you were able to entertain and will continue to listen and watch the program moving forward. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, like the video, leave comments, please, please, please leave comments, and please spread the word to your family and friends. I will always love having new followers. Always, always, always. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave a review, as that helps the algorithm help other people find the channel. Also, please let me know if you have any ideas of topics you'd like to hear about, talk about, because I'm going to be starting to do some new sections If there's no interviews, we'll go into some history of tobacco, history of pipes, history of whiskey, things like that. So we'll be adding that to the mix in the near future. As always, I will see you next week on the Whiskey and Smoke News Network. And remember, please drink and smoke responsibly. Have a great night. Bye.